How can we gracefully face strong resistance? Hi everyone, I'm Thomas and welcome to my channel. I do educational videos and usually on fairly difficult to understand subjects. Usually not so difficult in their subject matter in general, but difficult because a lot of times they require us to unlearn things that we already learned in order to replace them with things that are actually more simple and elementary and fundamental, but they seem real complicated because we've got a whole structure of things that we need to unlearn that are wrapped up in our head. So, but that's generally the way it goes, especially at this point in time. We've got a lot of unlearning to do. And hopefully this channel will be somewhat of a resource for people to be able to, once they are open enough, that they'll be able to pick up some of the pieces and find something that is sane and stable in a crazy world. Their crazy worlds being formed by recognizing how much bogus information they've taken in already in their lives. So one of the great things I think for that is this tree of life. The tree of life is a diagram. It's got 10 different circles. These are thought of 12 different aspects that are thought of as being our faculties of consciousness. They're numbered 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's an abyss here, and then there's a 0 above the tree. So a total of 12 different faculties. And they are briefly, this is our animal faculty, instinct, survival. This is our domestic consciousness. This is what we get when we're growing up. We're highly receptive, and then we memorize and copy our caregivers. This is the real world, the conventional wisdom, the institutions. They tell us what the expert opinion is, and we're supposed to believe that and rationalize it. Then the 7th sphere is for the creative types and the inventions, things that don't fit in here, that basically provide alternatives for this here. And so they are people who are artists or inventors, and they come up with their creative offerings in order to improve upon what's here. It's also our area for joy and inspiration, and we get that a lot of times from paying attention to people who are actually acting up here on the higher aspects. And so the 6 is our free will faculty. This is in particular central. You see it, it's at the center of the tree. It's connected with everything. It's and it's also the center, the you are here. Like, so if you're looking at a map, it would say you are here. And this is where we pay attention and make decisions, our free will. We pay attention, and the first thing that we need to decide when we make a decision is on what to pay attention to. And for now, a lot of us are paying attention to the lower aspects of the tree, our conditionings, what we get from the real world, what we got from the home, and even our animal heritage. And here we are learning to turn around our attention and tune in to what is higher up on the tree, the higher aspects of our faculties of consciousness. So that starts with number 5, which is the sense of justice, otherwise known as karma. This is what comes around goes around, and this is the enforcement of the natural law. And it trumps, because it's just above, it trumps out this is really like the law. This is the edicts or the commandments or the criminal codes of law that were written up by these people who run the institutions. But the law, the enforcement of the law here is the natural law, which is something that's belonging over here at the fourth sphere. This is the natural law, how everything really works. And it's arrived at through long cultural, long civilization, long periods of observation and investigation and experiment. So this is really how the universe works, whereas this is just kind of an arbitrary. This is also where our universal love and universal language comes in. The universal language is inclusive. It's not a jargon. It's something that everybody can understand intuitively. And this is also kind of our pillar of intuition, where we develop some intuition here, and we refine it as we move up. And then when we get it here, we call it scientific insight, and here we call it wisdom. We'll get around to that. The also universal love, give seeking nothing in return, and loving our enemies. Then at the abyss, this is our psychic powers. This is our ability to tune into and recognize omens, and then to be able to act upon them. Tuning in and recognizing is our psychic receptivity. Acting upon them is our psychic heat. It requires a bit of courage or heat in order to act upon the omen, because it requires us to kind of step out of our comfort zone and really to put ourselves out there by acting upon the omen. And then third sphere, second sphere, and first sphere are our divine faculties within. This is omnipotence, all-powerful, omniscience, all-knowing, and omnipresence, all-present, all the time, everywhere, eternally. So this is the all. This we tap into our omnipotence, all-powerful, through sound synchronization, especially mantra. And then we tap into this wisdom through more or less shutting down the mind and letting potential possibilities arise. Wisdom is really our ability to solve problems. And then the zero sphere above the tree is really like the ultimate mystery and the nothingness, the outside, what's not in the universe. Okay, now, so in my teaching model, what I've done is they say you can apply the tree of life to anything. So what I've done is I've applied the tree of life to each one of the spheres. Each one of the 12 faculties, I've applied the 12 faculties to. So it's kind of a fractal concept. So there are 12 faculties within the 10th sphere and 12 faculties within the 9th sphere. So when you add all that up or multiply it, you end up with 144 fractal faculties. And so these are stages of life, stages in terms of not chronological stages, but dramatic stages. So these are 144 different dramas that we go through as we move through life. Now, today we're looking at stage number 75, which is, the question was, how can we gracefully face strong criticism? And the title is Signifying Poetically. This is located here in the 4th sphere, and it's the 8th fractal of the 4th sphere. So it's right over here. The 4th sphere is about universal law, universal language, universal love. And then the 8th within it is the real world. Like, so what the institutions tell us and what the expert opinion tells us. And so in many cases, the 4th and the 8th sphere are very much diametrically opposed. As I was saying before, this is where the natural law is, and this is where, like, the fake law, the cops and the judges, you know, and the judicial system comes in. So these are the edicts, and these are the observations. Now, a couple days ago, we did number 31, which is actually the fourth fractal of the A-sphere. And this one, so this is the opposite of that. This is the 8th fractal of the 4th sphere. But at the 4th fractal of the A-sphere, number 31, we talked about codes of conduct. But here, we're talking about what is called signifying poetically. Signifying poetically, number 75, also called letting go of jewels. Stage number 75 is about poetic and aesthetic creative expression that is persuasive even in the face of strong resistance. Double entendres, signifying monkeys, hidden in plain sight. Civilize the au faits, improvising to shine. Unprecedented acts of creative daring, of lyrical daring, symbolic daring, repeated. Poetic signifying gives outputs for both sides of the brain, the next dimension of language. Wordsmithing in the hidden transcript, phrase fashioning too, off the top of the dome, but not just making it up. We've trained ourselves. We have a system to get in a flow and to get our inventory into our immediate memory storage and to deploy on a dime into our body memory for instant composition. The meaning, deeply embedded on purpose, is hidden in plain sight. Humor makes things safe so people don't panic when taken outside their comfort zone, their interior landscape. Laughter has its place. Humor helps us by replacing distressing emotions with pleasurable feelings. Humor can adjust the meaning so that the event is not so powerful. It reduces stress by assisting us to view the world with perspective. It shifts the way in which we think. When used properly, when used poetically. Deal with emotional conflict or external stressors by emphasizing the amusing or ironic aspects, and also substituting curiosity for fear. Focus through pleasure. Let the charge build. Do not try this at home until we get the hang of it, unless we are professional stuntmen. In a homeland with megalomaniacal dictators and cutthroat captains of industry, dunce capitalists and their cronies, dumb dumbocracies, in a land of suckers, in a land of governing structures built for bloodsuckers. But remember, it is not the situation that generates our stress, but it is the meaning we place on the situation. We are no longer a victim of causality. Let our demons out of prison to find out they were really angels in disguise. Okay, that is number 75, signifying poetically, or letting go of jewels, the 8th fractal of the 4th sphere. And I think that is it for today. If you'd like to get a free copy of the 144 fractal faculties or stages of life, free list of those, just click the link in the description and I'll send one out to you immediately. Also, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for future videos on this channel on the Tree of Life and many other interesting subjects. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.